Howdy. Today I'm going to be talking about 10 really good cheap fragrances that aren't just 4-hour citrus fragrances. I watch a lot of fragrance reviewers, and a lot of the cheap fragrances that they talk about are citrusy, and they don't last a whole long time. And many of the cheap fragrances that I have are citrusy, and they don't last a long time. And some of them don't really smell high quality. They don't really smell that good. They don't even smell worth the $20, $30, $40, $50 price tag that they are. But there are a good bit of warm weather fragrances or all year round fragrances under $50 or around $50, and they smell really good. And they're not just basic citrus fragrances like a lot of cheap fragrances are. So, I'm going to talk about them today, starting with Moschino Toy Boy. This is kind of a polarizing scent. The first time I smelled this, I thought it smelled feminine, very feminine. It is very rosy. It's got notes like elemi, pink pepper, other spices. It's got flax. I don't know what flax smells like, but it has it in there. What I get from this fragrance is pink pepper, rose, and amber, and that's pretty much it. There's a whole lot of other notes, but that's pretty much the forefront of this fragrance. And it is unique. It's spicy, it's warm, and then has like a freshness to it from the pink pepper and the rose. As this dries down, it gets better and better and better, in my opinion. This is a really good cheap fragrance. I think the 100ml is like maybe $50. This is the 30ml, it's going to be even cheaper. Coming up at number B, we have Umalaki from Chopard. This is a really good fragrance. It's just a good smelling fragrance. It has leather, it has oud, it's sweet, it's ambery, a little spicy. This is kind of a more mature fragrance. Same thing with Toy Boy. This is a mature fragrance as well. It doesn't smell dirty like a lot of oud fragrances may. It's sweet, it's spicy. I'm guessing it's using an oud called Umalaki because it's in the name, but it smells similar to me. It doesn't smell exactly like it. There might be a small amount in here and mixed with maybe like another oud accord or something like that. But this is sweet, woody, not very challenging, but I would say it's definitely a little bit more mature. But it just smells great. It smells extremely good for its price tag. I got this fragrance, I think, for around $55, and I think maybe it's gone up. Maybe wait until it gets around $55, $60. I think at that price, it's really worth it. Maybe if it's higher, then it's not all that worth it, especially if you have other fragrances. If you wanted to try like an entry-level oud fragrance, this is probably the best one. Number 3 is a CK fragrance. It's Eternity Reflections. This is a really unique fragrance. It's supposed to be a summer fragrance. I think you could wear this all year round. The notes are absinthe, chocolate, and like sandalwood, and that's pretty much it. It smells a little chocolatey. It smells a little fresh. It smells a little like fruity, sugary, sweet. I guess that might be the absinthe accord in here. It smells maybe a little aquatic, summery, beachy. It kind of reminds you of that. It doesn't really smell like an aquatic fragrance. It's got like a fresh and sweet aspect in there. It's very balanced, the freshness and the sweetness. It lasts a long time, especially for an EDT and like all the Eternity fragrances that you can get for less than $30. They all get hated on, but there's some really good ones. This is one of them. Number 4 is Bentley Absolute. This is a really unique fragrance as well. Bentley, not too expensive. You can probably get this in the $50 range as well. It smells to me like a church. It's very incensey. It's very woody. The note breakdown says sweet notes. It's not very sweet. It has a lot of green aspects to it, maybe a little lavender. But that incense is in the forefront throughout the entire duration of the fragrance. Off the atomizer on the top, it doesn't smell like an amazing fragrance. But once you get it on the skin and you wear it and dries down a little bit, the nuance comes out. It smells more ambery as you wear it, although I don't think amber's listed, but amber's in every fragrance, essentially. Bergamot, stuff like that. We got violet, tangerine, pink pepper, nutmeg, papyrus, earthy notes, patchouli, sweet notes, jasmine, atlas cedar, moss, incense, tobacco, and tonka bean in here. And I'm reading that off, I'm not guessing. Another interesting, cheap, not citrusy fragrance. This one's kind of an old school one. Hold on, the bottle wrong. This one's kind of old school, Essential from Lacoste. Very interesting fragrance. It has cassis, tomato leaf, tangerine, bergamot in the top. And it's green. It's not very citrusy. I can tell there's citrus in there now that I'm looking at the breakdown. It smells like vaguely fruity. I wouldn't say like cassis. I don't know what cassia is. It's got rose pepper in the mid, and then the base is sandalwood and patchouli. This is a really unique fragrance. It's old school. It smells a little dated. I think it's kind of older, but it smells really good. If I'm gonna compare it to another Lacoste fragrance, I would say it's kind of like Lacoste White. It kind of has that like suede-y, fruity consistency. I think this lasts a little bit longer, maybe like actually like twice as long. Lacoste White does not last a long time. This does have some longevity to it. It smells really good. It's cheap. It's like dirt cheap, I think. And this is just a good fragrance to me. There's just something about it that does that thing in my brain, I guess. Tomato leaf is kind of an interesting note. It doesn't smell like vegetal or anything like that, but really interesting smelling fragrance. Very unique. Maybe the closest fragrance you can get to this is Lacoste White, which smells really good. But that's more like suede grapefruit. This is kind of greener, also fruity, but in a different way. Next up is Artisan Teal from John Barbados. I love the bottle. Love the smell of the fragrance. This is not your typical summer fragrance. I would say it's probably meant for the summer. You could probably wear this all year round. It is, I would say, a clone. I would say this is a clone of Y. It is somewhere in between Y, EDT, and EDP for me. Not as sweet, a little fresher than the EDP. I think Y EDT is actually a legitimately good fragrance. It's unique. It's much different than Y EDP. They're similar. They have some aspects. They're in the same line, but Y EDT is aldehydic. It's sweet. It's a little less sweet, I'd say, than the EDP, but it's still pretty sweet. It's fresh. And it lasts a long time for an EDT. It's one of those EDTs that just go on forever. And this is somewhere in between that. The note breakdown makes no sense. It's lemon, rosemary, water lily, pink pepper, sea salt, musk, and driftwood. And all you get is Y. I think it has the amber, ambroxan, amber extreme base that makes it very similar to Y. Maybe the rosemary is kind of giving off that like clary sage kind of smell. But there is some sort of fruitiness to this. I think they just put some fruit molecules in here. Not necessarily apple, but it does kind of give off that YEDP fruitiness. And then has the freshness from the EDT. Good fragrance. Coming up at number 7 is CK Shock. This is a really interesting fragrance to me. There was a short time I was trying to collect tobacco fragrances, and this is one of the ones that I got because I heard it was very cheap and very good for its price. And it is. I'm not a huge fan of tobacco. I got maybe 5 or 6 of them and then was bored of them. I thought some of them were cool. I actually like all of them. Maybe I should continue getting tobacco fragrances. It's spicy. It's got pepper. It's got cardamom. Cardamom and tobacco go together like rose and oud. Lavender. Another interesting note is cucumber. Don't really get it, but it does have a green nuance to it. I think in perfumery, lavender, green notes, and sweet notes kind of mix into this generic masculine accord, and that goes into a lot of men's fragrances. And this has this. It has like the spicy, sweet, lavender, slightly green nuance, and I think it just goes really well together. This is a long-lasting fragrance. It's cheap. I don't like the bottle. It has the cap on it that you twist off, and then you put the atomizer in, and then you're left with this. There's no cap for this. I sprayed this I think 3 days ago, so I can smell it pretty well, and it's really good. It's kind of similar to Burberry London. I don't know which one I'd like more, but this one's probably cheaper, and I think they smell about the same. This one's very interesting. You might want to go for this, save some money. Interesting fragrance. Last CK, I swear. Number 8, this is a really good one. All these are really good. Abercrombie & Fitch First Instinct Extreme. What a name. Love the bottle, although you can't look through it, but it's got these grooves on it. I think it looks pretty cool. Like the silver grayish finish on it. I'm pretty sure this is a cheap fragrance. I got it from TJ Maxx, probably for around $40, maybe $50. And it is a very unique fragrance. A lot of these fragrances are unique. The note breakdown is starfruit pepper, mandarin leaf, violet leaf, Szechuan pepper, cardamom, saffron, musk, amber, coconut milk, suede, and cashmere wood. There's a lot in there I don't smell. Now that I'm looking at Szechuan pepper, I can kind of vaguely pick that out. But I pick out the black pepper more. I'm seeing a pattern here a lot with violet leaf and pepper in all of these note breakdowns, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, like the violet leaf, I think is giving it this fruity kind of background. Fruity sweet background, fresh. But this is kind of, I would say, a more mature fragrance. I think maybe if you're super young, you're probably not going to like this. Although the First Instinct line, I think, is very youthful. This one to me smells a little bit less useful than the other ones that I have. It's the best one. It lasts a long time. I like to wear this to work. And it lasts me all day. It lasts me on the ride home. Really good stuff. Number 9 is Bentley Momentum Intense. And this is just a really unique, good fragrance. I did unbox this maybe like a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. And I've probably worn it like 4 or 5 times since. And I have a lot of fragrances behind me, so that's pretty high volume for one fragrance for me. It's got lavender, elmy, bergamot, ambergris, tonka, geranium, amberwood, sandalwood, and musk. I don't know why some fragrances add musk to the note breakdown. Every fragrance has musk in it. We know. We know what you're doing. This to me has a kind of like a violet leaf kind of Fahrenheit middle backbone to this. I think this smells better than Fahrenheit for me. The Fahrenheit's leather kind of puts me off. There's some leather notes that I like. Most of them I don't, and in Fahrenheit, the leather sometimes gets me in a bad way. I have to be in the mood for Fahrenheit in order to wear it. Maybe it'll grow on me more as I wear it, but this kind of has that for me. It's little fruity, little sweet. It's fresh, spicy, and it's just interesting. It has such an interesting texture to it. It lasts a long time. Aside from the vaguely reminiscent violet leaf consistency mid to Fahrenheit, this is a very unique fragrance, and I absolutely love it. Coming up last at number 10, definitely not least, is Roberto Cavalli Uomo, just the black one. It's the original Uomo. This to me smells like a more mature 1 million. It's got that signature Paco Rabanne bubblegumminess to it, but it has the Roberto Cavalli nuances to it. It's bright, very bright, a little floral. It's a little spicy. The note breakdown has saffron in it, but I don't really smell saffron. Black violet saffron in the top. Mid is honey and lavender. Base is tonka, cedar, and patchouli. Lots of lavender, lots of violet, lots of patchouli, tonka, and cedar in all of these fragrances. And they all smell quite different. I don't think any of these fragrances are remotely close to one another. Similar note breakdowns though. And this one is kind of like a grown man's 1 million. I think 1 million smells extremely dated. I know a lot of reviewers, when they're talking about 1 million, they say it smells slightly dated. It smells very, very dated. 1 million is like kind of like very bright, maybe a little too bright. It's sweet. It's a little bubblegummy. It doesn't smell like everyone describes it, like a powerhouse sweet clubbing fragrance. Maybe just the new bottles are reformulated and they have their older bottles that are more powerful. A lot of fragrance materials have been banned or reduced from IFRA since the creation of 1 million. This one, I don't think it's a clubbing fragrance. I think it's just got the bubblegumminess to make it more unique. I think Urban Hero here smells better than 1 million. It is very bright as well. Not as bright as 1 million in my opinion. I think they've added Amber Extreme to this, which I think it fits. It's not like a fresh citrus fragrance with the only base note being Amber Extreme, which is in a lot of cheap fragrances. Urban Hero is a little heavier than 1 million. I think it lasts a little bit longer. I think it smells a little bit better. This one I think is way, way, way better than Urban Hero. So Roberto Cavalli, if you want to get like an 1 million style fragrance, I think this one would be really good, especially if you like very nuanced, more mature fragrances. This one is really good. That's it. Those are 10 fragrances. Now I'm trying to think which maybe 3 are my favorite. I didn't really put them in any particular order. I just tried to make all the black bottles not consecutive. They're all really good. I think probably Bentley Momentum would be my favorite. And then probably Oud Malaki. That's a really good fragrance as well. And then Bentley Intense. That is also a really good, unique fragrances. They're all probably around $50. Definitely less than $60, I think, for all these fragrances. If Oud Malaki's popped up above $60, probably don't get it. I think it's sold out at Fragrance Buy, but I was looking at it in other places. It seemed a little pricey. All those fragrances are damn good. Damn good, cheap fragrances. Not citrus fragrances that last 4 hours that aren't that good. Those are really good. I like citrus fragrances, and I have some cheap ones that I really like, and they last a good amount of time. They don't last like 4 hours. maybe I'll do a video on those. It's pretty cold out. I thought maybe it'd be better to have like the year-round or winter fragrances and take a left turn here and talk about cheap fragrances that aren't citrus fragrances. So that was my idea. Yeah, hopefully you like these fragrances. If you haven't tried them before, maybe check them out at the mall. Probably most of these you can't find at the mall. Like Umaki, you'd probably have to blind buy that. I think all of these fragrances are probably blind buy worthy, especially because they're so cheap and they smell unique but good. So I don't think they're gonna be redundant if you add them to your collection or something like that. That's it. Thanks for watching.